Hello! April has ended and it is now May. I cannot believe that obviously we have a change. In the next video, you're probably going to see a change again because your girl did go red and she did go very short. Now, I think that the problem is that I went short and red at the same time and I'm having a little bit of identity crisis, okay? So we're going back to do something else. Anyway, you did not come here for that. You came here for the books. So let's stop talking about my hair and my panic attack and my anxiety and let's talk about the 13 books I read in April. April was a very heavy, like, romantic-y month for me. I was really in my romantic-y era and my shifter era. Something happens to me when I'm really trying to get out of like a funk. I have to purge whatever I'm feeling out of my system. So when I like am in a genre or a trope, I have to read it until I am sick of it. I hyperfixate on things. I hyperfixate on food. I hyperfixate on types of books. And so I hyperfixated on the romantic-y, like fantasy romance genre, and I read so many now that I don't even want to look at another one. I will physically get sick if I see another one. I mean, that's not entirely true. If you have a recommendation, let me know. But that is what I do. I do everything I do everything in extremes. And so these are the 13 books I read. Now, some of these are series, and I do not count just one series as one book because when I'm putting it on my Goodreads, it counts per book. So let's get into it. If it will load. Okay. I have been very carefully tracking my books on Goodreads. I think throughout this whole year there might be one or two that I didn't add on there, but I'm trying really, really, really hard to be consistent with it, to know how many, because people ask me, how many books did you read each year? And I can never give them an accurate answer, and they're like, but you read so much, like, why aren't you tracking this? And I'm like, you're right, why am I not tracking this? So we started off with Sunrise on the Reaping with Suzanne Collins. I think I was a little late in the game, but that's okay. A fantastic read. Now, at first I was like, I don't know, am I gonna, like, I was very, very, very excited for Haymitch's story, but a lot of times, like, I feel like I hype myself up for things and then I'm kind of disappointed. Was not disappointed at all. What I am disappointed is me and you and everybody else who made those clips of Snow and Snowlands on Top and all the ones that we reposted and liked on TikTok, and Suzanne was like, oh yeah? Yeah? Okay. Suffer for it. And she did in fact make us suffer. Now I'm going to say some spoilery things, so proceed with caution. I was absolutely heartbroken by Haymitch's story. The fact that he goes in and one of the first things we learn about him is that he's not a big drinker. He's not a big drinker, guys. He's not a big drinker. He's not a drinker. And then just putting that in there and knowing where he ends up broke my heart, and knowing all the things that he has to like go through in not only his games but then after his games was heartbreaking. And I truly feel like you see these characters throughout each book, they're going through these games and they think once they get out everything's gonna be okay, but it's almost like the worst things happen after the games. And what happened with Lenore Dove was absolutely heartbreaking, and I was absolutely sobbing. And him talking about meeting Katniss and Peeta and all the little connections and all the little just like footnotes here and there was so it was put together so well. And just knowing that he knew all these things and that is why he is the way he is makes so much sense. I loved Haymitch before. I love him even more now. I think that the book just gave me a real like eye-opening to him, and so I cannot wait to see the movie. And some of the actors have dropped for the movie. It looks like an insane cast. It looks like a pretty stacked insane cast. So I'm very excited to see what they do with that next. Next two books I read was A Curse of Fate and A Twist of Luck by Jayme Eve, and then the next book comes out I think in June. I always do this where I start a book or I start a series that's unfinished. I absolutely eat it the fuck up, and then I have nowhere else to go with it and I'm just left waiting for the crumbs. I don't know why I do this to myself, but it was insane. Just like from beginning to end, very good, very insane. So this is a Why Choose Shifter romance, and I've really been in my like shifter era. She is she is a rogue wolf, and she knows that like if she gets scented by anybody, she is in danger. And of course she gets scented by like one of the most powerful packs and added into their pack, and she starts bonding with some of them, and they like some of them bond with her more than others, and there's of course a couple of them who are like very wary and are like nervous to bond with her. They don't really trust her, and the story was so good, just like the way her relationships formed with all these people around her. And I love found family, and I think this series did a really good job of found family. If you enjoy shifter romance or any type of like paranormal like fantasy romance, I think you will really like this. Jaymin Eve does an incredible job. Like I've read so many of her books, and I just love the way she writes. And so after I read that, I was like, okay, I need more, give me more, give me more. So I read her, and she co-wrote a series with Leah Stone, and it was the Titan Saga. And so the first book is Releasing the Gods. So this girl is, and it's a few years back, so the humor is a bit different than it is now. The hashtag, remember when it was like hashtag whatever? The hashtags are really big in this story, and it's funny, but if you don't like that humor, then you're not gonna like this because it's like throughout. But I love the main character. She's just like, she's a girly girl, and she's like an influencer, and she's just like really funny, but she has all these like different personality traits. But when you first meet her, you think she's kind of shallow, and you kind of delve deeper into her character, and you realize that there's a lot more to her, because that's how it is with us women. We have a lot more than probably what meets the eye. And she's drunk one night, and she's like up climbing these like rocks. What are they called? Not mountains. Climbing these cliffs. There we go. She's climbing these cliffs, and she's drunk, and her friends are daring her, and she's like, I heard this place is like cursed, and I don't believe it. And she's up there by herself. She actually accidentally cuts her palm, and she puts it on there, and all of a sudden this guy pops out, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And he's like this very, you can obviously tell he's very old, not by the way he looks, because he's, to her eye, very good looking, but you can tell like the way he talks, he's just not from around this time. And the way she's talking to him, she's like, dude, like what is going on? She thinks she's hallucinating. She's like, did somebody put something in my drink? And he's like, you need to take me to your house. She puts him in an Uber, and she's like, he's like, oh, what happened? Like, no horse and carriage, like what's going on? He's very confused. And because she released him, they have this bond, and they can't go further than like 8 feet from each other. And he turns out he's a Titan, okay, not a god, a Titan, so above a god. And all of a sudden, all his family members and friends start popping out of nowhere, and he's like, oh great, we gotta go deal with da-da-da. Oh great, we gotta go deal with da-da-da. Then his ex-wife pops out of nowhere, and she's like, oh, now I gotta deal with like your beautiful like ex-wife. Great. And she's like, I think if I remember, like, didn't your sons do da-da-da with you? And he's like, that's just like the story they tell, it's not true. It's really fun, like Titans and like twist on Titans and gods. And if you like that kind of stuff, like mythological things, you're gonna like this, like the Greek gods and all that stuff. You will enjoy this. It's a very fun read, and it is a little spicy, I will let you know, but just so good. Like I had a really good time. Very fun read. And then I was in that same genre, and I came across Beg the Night by Emily Blackwood. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I've had people comment on my videos on TikTok and be like, oh, I didn't really enjoy this, like da-da-da. But I loved it so much. Like, could not put it down. This was one of those books where I had to read from beginning to end, couldn't take a break, because I needed to know what happened next. I was on the edge of my seat. So what starts out is, this girl is chilling in her hometown, and she's heard throughout all these, throughout all these stories that there are people who have magical powers, and they're getting taken away left and right. And she's like, yeah, right, like, don't believe that. She asks her parents are like, don't ask me again, like, we don't talk about that, we don't talk about Bruno, like, shush your mouth. And she's like, okay, we don't talk about that, like, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. Okay, cool. But weird things start happening, and like all her family members start like dying one by one, and her older sister, she's like, peace out, like, I'm not staying here, I'm not sticking around for this. y'all got me messed up, I'm leaving. And she like kind of resents her sister for that. And then it gets down to like her younger sister dying, and we don't really know why. Like, we're not really told like what's going on, but all of a sudden these people show up and they kidnap her essentially, and they're like, we know you have powers, show us your powers and you won't get hurt. She's like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they torture girl. Like, they're like stabbing her, they're cutting her, they're like full on torturing her. And she's like, what in the hell is going on? I'm telling you I don't have powers. And they're like, okay, you don't have powers? We're gonna put you in the prison with all the other people who do have powers. And you're like, and she's like, oh shit. So they put her in this prison essentially with all these dudes. Okay, it is a sausage party in there. She's like, what the hell? Like, I definitely don't feel safe here. She meets the only other girl in there, and she's like trying to get the lowdown on what's going on like with all these dudes. And there's one dude in particular who like hasn't really made her feel unsafe, but he gives off like very much animosity vibes, and he's like looking at her like, what the fuck is she doing here? Like, what the hell is she doing here? And so she's talking to the girl, and the girl's like, listen, I hate to break this to you, but the reason you're here is because you must be pretty powerful, and they want you to mate, do the thing with somebody in this room on a full moon, because apparently on a full moon the energy released from sexual activity gives them a big power boost, and they're like trying to win this war. And she's like, so that's what they're gonna want to do. And she's like, but girl, I don't have powers. And the girl's like, I don't know, kind of seems like you do to me. And she's stuck under here. She's like trying to figure out who she can trust and down here in the prison system and who she can't. All of a sudden, guy who's been like being mean to her, giving her animosity eyes the whole time, is like taking her under his wing, and they end up getting paired for this ritual. And like, she doesn't want to do it. She's like, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it. And he's like, listen, like, I'm not gonna force you to do anything, but I'm just telling you, like, if you don't do it, they are gonna try to make us. And she's like, what are you talking about? So they lock him in this room. These fumes start getting pumped in, these drugs start getting pumped in that makes them want to kick off their clothes. And he's like trying to fight it, she's trying to fight it, she gets hot, she starts taking off her clothes. My boy is white knuckling the bars of his cell, and he's like, please stop taking off your clothes. Like, you're already making this hard enough as it is. And that's all I'm gonna say. It gets really, really good. And I don't know, I just really loved it. I like how the magic system was kind of set up. She didn't give you like too much information to where you were overwhelmed, but like enough information for it to be fun and exciting read. So I really enjoy that. I sometimes like I want to have like a complex magic system, you know, kind of like Throne of Glass, kind of like Fourth Wing. And, you know, obviously there are more complex ones than that. That's just off the top of my head, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes I want to read one where, like, it's kind of transparent for me. I know a lot of people say, like, show, don't tell. Like, show me the things, and then I'll pick it up and I'll make my own assumption. But sometimes when I'm reading, I just kind of do want you to tell me what's going on. And I feel like that's what's kind of happening here. Like, it was kind of a good mixture of both. Like, where she was setting it up for you to kind of figure it out on your own, but then also telling you and giving you the information so you weren't just, like, left blind. And so I really appreciate that. What else did I read? Oh, I read the Broken Bond series by Jay Bree. I read 4 out of the 6 of those books. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I read 4. So what happens when I do a reread is I really like getting right up into that climax point. Like right up until, you know, like when somebody is supposed to be with somebody and they haven't been with her yet. Obviously, if you read this, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, this is a story where she has multiple partners, and normally when you have like a wide choose, there's always one partner who kind of holds off to the very end. And so I like to read, like if I'm rereading, I like to reread up and get right up to that point. And then I'm like, I know what happened, so I don't need to. But like that, all that build up is fun for me to reread. The rest isn't necessarily. And so I forgot how much I loved that series. Like, really just was so interesting. I liked the way that everything was explained, and I liked the dynamics and the relationships with all her guys. And so once I got rereading that, I was like, well, obviously, let me just also do the Just Drop Out series by Jay Bree, because I also love that series, and that is always a fun read for me. But I only read the first 2 books, and then I think I'm almost done listening to the 3rd book. I might finish that one. I feel that they're shorter, so I feel like I can get through and like listen to them while I'm cleaning and stuff. But it's the same thing. Like, once I get through like that last guy or that last person who kind of like gives it up in the why choose, I'm over it. But I just love like a really badass female main character, and in those two series, like in all these books, truly we had badass female main characters, like, and I just love that. That's also another reason why I love books like Boys of Rachel High, because I really like a strong female main character that's just like always gonna do it for me. And this was a month where I read everything on my Kindle. Like, I did not even read one on a physical copy, and I also listened to, so I was reading on Kindle and also listening. I own most of the Broken Bond series on my Audible account, and I also have a lot of the Just Drop Out on my Audible account, and then the rest I strictly read on here. And then I was also reading like the Broken Bonds and the Just Drop Out. Like, it's sick how I do things, because once I get into something, I have to like I said, I have to consume it until I'm sick of it. So if I'm cleaning, if I'm cooking, if like, and truly like when I'm going through a certain time of the month on my cycle, I really get into the like where I'm like burning through books like left, right, and center, like boom, 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 boom. And I think there was like a good week or two where I was just like struggling mentally. Bing! And so I was just like escaping into fictional worlds. So I was listening while I was cleaning, I was listening while I was like on the way to pick up kids from school, and then I was also like, once I got done doing everything, I'd get on my Kindle and update on the update on the Kindle Colorsoft. I'm loving it. Like, I really just, do I think you absolutely have to have it? No. No, you don't absolutely have to have it. Does it make it more enjoyable when I can see the things? Sure. But like, if you're wanting to splurge, like, see how you can just kind of see it's colorful, it's pretty, it's cutesy, but you don't need it. But yeah, other than that, like, love my Kindle Colorsoft. Having such a good time with it. So I'm excited for May. May, I feel like we have some really good releases coming up. Releasing 10, speaking of, comes out in May. And I am going to crash out when I read that book. I'm gonna probably vlog it, because I don't know if you guys are ready for Marissa Crash Out. It's been a while since I've read something that absolutely ripped my heart out. I feel like that is 100% gonna do that. Very much rooting for my girl Lizzie and my boy Huey. I know there's a lot of controversy about Katie and Feely, and I don't like to pit the two girls against each other. Obviously they're going to. I don't like to pit them against each other. They're both great in their own right. I've just always loved the Katie and Lizzie I've always just loved the Lizzie and Huey like storyline, especially when it was introduced in Seven Sleepless Nights. It captured my attention. Don't kill me, but I do love cheating in romance books. I'm so sorry, but in fiction, I love it. In any type of media, I eat it up. Grey's Anatomy has cheating, One Tree Hill has cheating. Like, I love the drama of it all. And I think if you don't know Chloe Pools from shows like One Tree Hill, because she has a lot of little Easter eggs from One Tree Hill, and I absolutely eat it up. I eat it up. I love drama. Like, I love drama and angst as long as it's not my own. Probably why I also like to watch reality TV. And you guys, if you haven't watched Battle Camp on Netflix, you gotta do it right now. I loved it. Me and my husband binged it so fast, like within a day or two. It was like we started in the afternoon, we fell asleep, we woke up the next day, finished it on a Sunday. It was incredible. It's got people from like Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, The Circle, The Mole. Like, and I haven't watched some of those shows, but I've watched enough of them where I was like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that person. And it's like giving the challenge and also giving like summer camp vibes. And I ate it up. There wasn't even a lot of romances. Like, there was like a little romance between two people, but other than that, it was just like the drama and like the betrayal of like, I'm voting for this person, I'm voting for this person. And I just had a really good time watching that. So I'm on the hunt for my next show now. I also finished The Pit. 100% recommend that. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Everybody who recommended it was 100% right. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch like another ER show. I feel like I've seen so many of like the medical dramas. No, you have to give this one a chance. It was so good. Amazing. So those are the only two shows I think I was watching in April. Very excited for the summer. I turned pretty. I am Team Conrad through and through. I love you, Team Jeremiah girls, but I don't understand it. I can't get with it. And I read the books when I was like in high school. So I will forever be Team Conrad. Nothing is going to change my mind about that. I was Team Conrad then, I'm Team Conrad now. Hopefully we're going to get Love Island, and I'm very excited for that. I'm excited for new faces. I hope that this season will be as good as last season. I'm not trying to get my hopes up, but I don't want it to fail. Like, I see a lot of discourse online and people are like, oh, nothing's gonna top last season, nothing's gonna top last season. Let's hope it does. Honestly, like, let's hope we get more baddies in there. Let's hope we get another Serena. Let's hope we get another Janae. Let's hope we get another Leah. More of that. Like, and I just love the drama. And as much as we can, like, hate on the Rob of it all, hate on the Liv of it all, hate on the, like, Kayla and Aaron of it all, it made for good TV. It made for good TV. So I hope that they're like getting real regular people and we're gonna get that same like fire chemistry between people, hoping and praying. And I know that they're all getting their own little spin-off show, so I think that's gonna be really good. But as far as like shows and TV, that is what I'm watching. If you have any recommendations, please let me know. If you have any recommendations for May, please let me know. But that is all for this April wrap up, and I will see you soon. Bye.